In this video, we'll be taking a look at several celebrities who have been known to employ controversial parenting decisions. Some might even accuse the celebs we're about to cover as being reckless in their approach to child rearing. Without further ado, Facts First presents celebrities who are utterly awful parents. Julia Fox.
And I think that the idea of childhood was invented as a way to just get parents to spend a lot of money on that kids don't. It's not really teaching your kid anything.
This actress recently created quite a stir online when she posted a theory on TikTok that suggested the idea of childhood was originally invented to get parents to keep buying their children things they don't actually need, like toys. She explained her theory in more detail by saying that by buying your children things, you're not actually teaching them anything. In her opinion, all you're really accomplishing is raising a child who's helpless and doesn't know what to do. Fox further claimed that her son Valentino, who was 19 months old at the time, has no interest in his toys and is more interested in her day-to-day activities, like cooking and cleaning. She suggested parents should get their children kid-sized mops and brooms so that when they enter the real world, they won't have to outsource everything. This is because they'll already know how to take care of things by themselves. This doesn't sound like the worst advice in the world, but we're still just warming up. Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard. Recently, Bell revealed to the online parenting news site Parents that she and her partner Dax Shepard lock their kids, Delta and Lincoln, inside their bedrooms at night. They began doing this when their youngest stopped sleeping through the night. Apparently, she would keep her sister up at night by turning on the lights, making loud noises, and moving furniture around. To combat this problematic behavior, the Good Place actress and Shepard decided to switch the doorknobs around and lock the kids in their room until morning. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. When Northwest, the couple's eldest daughter, was younger, they used to let her experiment with makeup. The internet came out in full force to criticize their parenting skills, saying that North was too young to be messing around with makeup. After Kanye converted to Christianity, he began to agree with the naysayers. This led him to ban North from wearing makeup until she's a teen. He also forbade her from wearing crop tops. Madonna. Not only does Madonna not allow her kids to watch TV or read the newspaper, but reportedly she's also very strict about what kind of bedtime stories they can hear. She only lets her ex-husband Guy Ritchie read her kids David the English Rose, a children's book that she wrote. Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes. While they're no longer a couple, Cruise and Holmes are surprisingly lenient in a lot of ways when it comes to raising their child Suri. When she was 5, she was allowed to wear high heels and makeup. They also let her sip on Starbucks coffee, which, as any parent knows, isn't the brightest idea. Developing minds already have enough on their plate to deal with. Throwing caffeine into the mix won't solve anything. This video is sponsored by ZBiotics. ZBiotics is a probiotic drink that helps you feel better the day after drinking. Many people think dehydration is responsible for that morning after feeling, but it's actually due to an alcohol byproduct that builds up in the gut. ZBiotics produces an enzyme specifically to break down this byproduct and reduce the after effects of alcoholic beverages. This is real science that works, not random vitamins and plant extracts like everything else. And ZBiotics is so easy to use. Just drink a bottle of ZBiotics before your first drink of alcohol. You only need one bottle. Then drink responsibly, pace yourself, and get a good night's sleep. Thanks to ZBiotics, you can enjoy your next day feeling refreshed and ready to make the most of it. Every time I have ZBiotics before drinking, I am amazed at how good I feel the next day. With the holiday season upon us, consider gifting ZBiotics to give the gift of a better next morning. It's unique, thoughtful, and under $40. If you use the code FACTSFIRST at checkout, you can get an extra 15% off your first order. Click the link in the description or go to zbiotics.com/factsfirst and get 15% off. Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher. Since both parents came from humble beginnings, they're staunchly opposed to raising spoiled kids. Unfortunately for their children, this means they won't be receiving any kind of trust fund, let alone Christmas presents. This wasn't an easy decision for Mila and Ashton to explain to their parents. Instead of giving their grandchildren gifts during the holidays, the two former That 70s Show stars told their parents to make a charitable donation instead. Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. To ensure their kids tell them literally everything, Will and Jada came up with a pretty unorthodox approach to communicating with their children. By instituting what they call the circle of safety, their kids are allowed to tell them everything they did, and they won't get into trouble no matter what they admit to. There are a couple of ground rules the Smiths laid out. For one, if they find out after holding the circle of safety that there was something their kids failed to share, there's a price to pay. With this rule in place, some critics have said this gives their children little to no privacy to speak of. Angelina Jolie. Being the mother of 6, implementing strict rules is the only way Angelina has been able to stay sane. One of her most controversial parenting rules is rejecting the notion of educating her kids by regular means. Instead of sending them to a classroom where she says tomfoolery takes place, Jolie says she would rather take them to the museum, read them a book, or teach them how to play guitar. By not sending them to school, Jolie wants to focus on teaching her children street smarts rather than book smarts. Pamela Anderson. This Baywatch star's parenting method is pretty much non-existent. While other celebrities have come up with a stringent set of rules for their kids, Anderson raised her sons with no rules at all. In a blog post on her site about intuitive parenting, she wrote that she wants her kids to drink and experiment with drugs in moderation while searching for true love by having casual sex. Candace Bure. This Full House star may love being a mother, but at the end of the day, she's still someone who has needs. That's why she's perfectly comfortable getting intimate with her spouse, even when the kids are at home. Apparently, whatever they hear through the walls is just an educational experience. Mayim Bialik. Big Bang Theory actress and neuroscientist Mayim Bialik is also the author of a parenting book called Beyond the Sling, a real-life guide to raising confident, loving children, the attachment parenting way. Now, we could criticize the long-winded book title, but we have bigger fish to fry. In one chapter, Bialik revealed she believes in long-term breastfeeding as well as allowing her children to sleep with her. And we're not parenting experts, but most people agree you should start weaning your kids off these things once they're old enough to eat solid food and sleep on their own. Alicia Silverstone. There are many excellent ways to bond with your children, but this one is pretty bizarre. Just like a mama bird feeding her young, this clueless actress was once seen feeding her infant son with pre-chewed food straight from her own mouth. Silverstone has additionally been an outspoken advocate for feeding children a vegan diet. She went vegan at 21, but she started her son Bure on a vegan diet when he was 8. Despite criticism, Silverstone has credited veganism for Bure's good behavior. Celine Dion. This singer and actress believes in giving her kids the freedom to make their own decisions. For example, she let her son René Charles decide when he wanted to cut his hair. Because of this decision, René didn't get his first haircut until he was 8, when school regulations forced him to. Keira Knightley. As a proud and staunch feminist, Knightley is all about teaching her 2 daughters, Edie and Delilah, about female empowerment. While we can't fault her for that, her methods have been a bit controversial. For one thing, Keira banned her children from watching fairy tale films since she believes they don't set a very good example for young developing minds. She even went as far as banning 3 specific films, The Little Mermaid, Cinderella, and Sleeping Beauty, in the hopes her kids didn't learn any misogynistic behavior or old-fashioned values. Much to her dismay, her daughters ended up watching all 3. Gwyneth Paltrow. Most parents have a few TV restrictions put in place. That's pretty common. But Paltrow has taken things a bit further by limiting the amount of screen time and what shows her kids are allowed to watch. Not only are certain shows outright banned from her household, but her kids also have to watch TV shows in different languages so it can be a learning experience. So there you have it. The celebrities we've just discussed have all received criticism for their unique parenting choices. Now, not every parenting style will be a perfect fit for every child. As long as everyone's doing the best they can, that's all we can ask for. And no matter what you do, if you're in the public eye, someone will always think what you're doing is wrong. Now it's time to hear from you. Which one of these celebrity parenting styles did you find the most offensive? Let us know in the comments section below.